You finally.
All right. We'll get
Thanks.
started. Thank you so much, Shelly, for doing this. I think everyone on this call knows that Shelly is your upline. She is my new to me, was it November or December? New to me mama.
November. I think we found out in October.
Yes. And so that makes her, for some of you guys, it's your granny. If you're under Shannon, Tracy, Jessica, or Heather, it's your great granny even. And I'll tease her for a minute because it really is like she's a little granny, and not in the old sense, but in the old sense for 31, because she's been doing this longer than I have. And I always say I look to her to like that wise owl, like that person who just knows the things, right? And the other thing she is amazing with are words, like words and thoughts. So really listen and take notes for that. Like, I know I give you guys lots of information, but I feel like mine is always not as graceful as someone like Shelly and her. No, I'm serious, Shelly. And so you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. And I know I've seen some of the stuff she's already done. So it's going to be fun. Here we go.
I love talking about recruiting. I really do, because right before we started recording, I was talking just a smidge about my story, and my story is really long. So I'll tell you a lot of different pieces of my story, just one piece tonight. So when I became a consultant in 2009, we didn't have the pink box. We had just a big old brown box. And really, it's kind of funny because, now I'm kind of an older 31 person, because I've been a consultant since 2009. But when I started, I felt like I was just, there were so many people ahead of me that knew so much and they were so wise. And I was kind of that person that was like, direct sales. My only experience with direct sales were things through my mother, and I'm 53 years old. So I'd gone to like Tupperware parties, and mom had a Tupperware party, and she had a Mary Kay party, and all those were really fun. And I liked that, but I also never envisioned myself being that person. You know what I mean? Like the Mary Kay woman I knew was always like perfectly coiffed and very professional, and that wasn't me. And then the Tupperware lady was a little bit like, oh gosh, did you just drag those dishes out of your trunk? That wasn't me. So those were the only two that, I knew a little bit about Pampered Chef, but I know nothing about cooking, and I don't want to know much about cooking. So I was just like, I don't know about this whole direct sales thing. Fortunately, I live in the South. I'm in Tennessee. I'm from Kentucky. And so when I said to my friends, oh my gosh, what do y'all think about this? When I showed them a catalog of monogram things, they were like, oh my gosh. They were wildly supportive of that. And so that kind of boosted my confidence a little bit. But what really drove me to go to this party and become a 31 consultant was my husband had been downsized. We lived in a pretty big new house. I had a son that was going to private Catholic school, so we were paying Catholic school tuition. My husband had this great job, and I just worked part-time at the Y for workout and childcare, and then that all fell through. It just, he gets downsized, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So suddenly I've got two jobs. I've got my son he's in crisis at this time. He was later diagnosed with autism. He's great. I'll tell you all about that later. Anyway, I go to this party, and I remember that day because I rarely cry about things that make me sad. Like I'll cry all day about something that I'm proud for somebody. You can make me cry about anything. If I'm proud for you, or if I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm, emotionally motivated that way, but I never really feel sorry for myself or really feel sorry for somebody else unless they're dying or something. Anyway, I sat down on my bed and I thought, what am I doing going to this 31 party? I have zero business spending money. It's around all of my friends who have no idea I don't have any money. I don't want to act like I don't have any money. So I just laid there on my bed and I was crying, and I thought, I've said I'm going to go. I'm going to go. So I'm going to go to this party, and I go and I see all these bags, and I do remember looking at what I now know is a Cindy tote. And I thought, wow, that thing is so pretty. And then I saw the price in the catalog, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it might as well have said 800, it's like, can't afford that. So I think that month, the special was a thermal tote, and it was one of the small, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the small ones. that we had, but it was like $5 or $10 with a $31 purchase, I think is what it was. So I thought, okay, I can do that. I can do that. So I'm looking at the catalog, and I just happened to say to my friend, and then she's like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So I call a lady who lives 6 houses up the street from me, and I said, hey, I would really like to see more about, I'm looking at the back of this catalog, and it looks like things are, is this really for real? Like I can get all this for $99? She's like, yes. Brings me down a packet, and I joined. That was August 6, 2009. For 5 months, I was like totally not intentional at all. The box came, I put it in my closet, I took the products out, but what was I doing? I was walking around with those products. I loved the little medium purse was in there. This stuff now we look at it and go, oh my gosh, that really wasn't that pretty. It looked like heaven to me. And we could put our own monograms on it. So I was like, this is so cool. And every one of my friends or people that I was seeing, they were like, where'd you get that? And so it was so nice because, and this is another thing that set us apart. And it was another thing that I was doing as a recruiting tool that I had no idea was a recruiting tool. First, I was so proud of those products. I was just showing them off, wearing them everywhere, using them everywhere. The second thing was, if I had ordered a bag or you ordered a bag in your community, you had to go purchase a bag from there. You had to drop it off there. It was probably $15, $20 for the monogram, even way back then. And then you had to go back 8 to 10 to 15 days later and go get it. Well, this was like one-stop shopping. So it made monogram shopping like that quick. And so my friends were really just amazed by that. And I asked the first like 3 or 4 people if they wanted to buy things. I didn't even want to ask people for parties. People asked me for parties. So I sold like $3,000 from August until January. And then finally I said, and listen, this is so funny. I may not have been intentional about recruiting, but I was successful at it because 3 people that were kind of watching me said, I think I want to join. Okay. So they joined. One of them was Hope Groves. Y'all know Hope? Most people have heard of Hope. So Hope was a girl that I had met online. We both had children. We were both pregnant at the same time. Never had met her in person, met her online. Her son was due at the same time mine was. And she was really funny. She's really witty. She's very, very smart. We're totally personality opposites. Like I'm kind of flighty, not dumb, but flighty. She's very studious, really brilliant, excellent trainer. Just she had a skill set that I did not have. So she dove in, and really she was kind of teaching me at first. She was like, hey, do you know about the Start Swell? I was like, I haven't read any of that stuff. I'm too busy. I got 2 jobs. And I really believed that. I thought I am too busy to pay attention to this stuff. Because to me, I wasn't really connecting that 31 meant income. So my director, Donna Runyon, I don't know if y'all know her, lovely, one of my buddies, just the sweetest woman alive. She's the person who lives 6 houses up the street. And she kept inviting me to things. She wasn't pushy, but she would email me and say, hey, we're having this conference call. Back then it was all conference call. And none of us were on Facebook. And she would just, hey, we're having like a little team meeting. And a little team meeting would be 2 or 3 girls, here in our community. So I said to my husband, oh my gosh, she is so sweet. And she keeps asking me, and I am not working tonight. So I'm going to go up to her house and just get her off my back, which is really, that's what I thought. So go to her house, and lo and behold, her sponsor's director is there, who was Jennifer Pasalakis. So here's Jennifer, who Donna is telling me the scoop. She goes, she just made $10,000 last month. And I was like, what? I was like, okay. So I'm just telling you what's running through my mind. I was like, this girl looks like me. She looks like you. She's wearing a t-shirt. She's got on jeans. She's got on tennis shoes. She didn't have on a lot of makeup. Her hair wasn't like perfect. And she sat down beside me and she's like, so tell me a little bit about you. And she sounds like me and talks like me. And I thought, wow, that got my attention. because my director, and we're going to talk about this in a few minutes about like recruiting language. My director, a lovely person, we weren't speaking the same recruiting language. She talked about 31 as her mission field. She talked about 31 as being an outlet for her to share her faith, an outlet for her to be out of her house, that she had 2 sons and she wanted to be around girls. And at that time, I was just like, money. I was like, I need money, I need money, I need money so bad. And I still hadn't put together that 31 could give me money. So I am sitting by Jennifer, and so she's asking me questions, and she says, so tell me, what do you do? Like, what do you do for work? So I told her, I said, well, and it's a little private conversation going on here. And I said, and I didn't know her. And I said, well, my husband's been downsized and I've got 2 jobs right now and I'm just worn out. And so she asked me, like, she goes, about how much do you make it at the Y? And I said, well, right now I'm making, this and that. And she said, so really what you're saying is with 31, this is the only job that you have where you can determine how much money you make. And she just said it like that. And I thought, never had heard that before. And I called her and I bought her a little charm with a lightning bolt on it, because at that moment, I remember that moment. I remember thinking, never had thought about it that way. And I had also thought, of all these women in this group, I've had more sales experience. I used to make a lot of money in sales. Why am I not putting this together? Why have I not put this together? So Jennifer gave me a plan and she had me write it down, and I've got it somewhere. I'll take a picture. And she said, here's what I want you to do for the next 3 months. And we're going to get you to director, and that's going to help you make more money. But I want you to do this for the next 3 months. And she goes, I want you to book and hold 4 to 6 parties a month. So this is January. I'm writing it down. And then she said, and I want you to recruit 1 to 2 people a month. And when she said that, y'all, I laughed out loud and I said, I just don't know about this whole party recruit thing. I said, I think I might be able to do this party stuff, but the recruiting, that just makes my skin crawl. I said, I cannot picture myself doing that. And so she had some answers for me. And then she said, the third thing you're going to do is the people that you do recruit, you're just going to teach them what you're doing. So she said, that's it. Don't pay attention to anything else. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on Donna. And see, listen, I'm telling you, I really think Facebook was the downfall of distraction for a girl like me, because that's the way I learned to work my business. I never heard somebody wasn't doing it. I never heard anyone wasn't successful, because the people that I was looking at said, this is what you do. This is how you do it. Teach somebody else to do it. And that's what I did. And so that year, 2010, I promoted 4 times that year. Quickly. I went home in that January and I recruited 14 people in January, February, and March by really just thinking, oh my gosh, I know people all over the country. I had a lot of things going for me. I had been in sales before and I was a regional sales manager, so I had a lot of contacts in the South. And so I was just hitting all over the place. Didn't even realize that was a good thing, that I would be building pockets of teams here and there, just like Hope. She was in Indiana. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing this. And oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. So then she says at the same time, what's gotten into you? You didn't hit a single start swell. You didn't do anything with this. I said, listen, we can make money doing this. We can make real money doing this. And so I was excited about it. And so I went to friends of mine who I knew wouldn't think that I was just trying to recruit them. They really trust me. I went to my hometown and I said, listen, my sister-in-law said, you've got to help me find some people over here that have sales on their mind, because this is big. And so that was my mindset, and that was everything. So I learned through all that experience that recruiting is truly a mindset. And this is one thing that, I'll probably say this 500 times. If you don't have to worry about being pushy. If you feel like I'm going to be pushy, you're thinking of things in just the wrong way. Because if I go to my bra store, I'm kind of a chesty chick, if I go to Soma and they've got a sale, I'm telling all my chesty chick friends, Soma's got a big sale. I don't feel weird about it. I don't feel at all strange about it. I'm sharing. If I get excited about a product, the little clear clip, oh gosh, what's the name of it? You know that one. I love that thing. I mean, I was telling friends that never buy 31 from me that I really don't even approach about it. And I was like, you need this, you need this, you need this. I've sold all kinds of those from just saying, you need this. So like, get out of your head and think about her instead of you. If there's a great sale or if there's something awesome that you know that somebody that you care about could benefit from, be ready to share that. So I want to show you all my little blast from the past. So back in the day, you know, we didn't have a lot of like file sharing and all that stuff. So this is what we carried. We carried the zip top. Actually, it didn't have a zipper. And I bought myself this keychain. And it says Rita on it. And that was my reminder. Has anybody heard what Rita means? Recruiting is the answer. So it's funny because some of you now, when you think about your 31 business, when you're sitting wherever it is you work, or maybe you're just kind of daydreaming about your work, the first thoughts in your mind may be, I need sales, or I need a party, or gosh, if, you know, I'd really like for her to be on my team, but then I would lose that party. I don't think that way. I've changed my mindset in that I know how to get a party. I can get party. I can get a sale. But if I can help her, that helps me. So obviously we know when we're working for a trip or we're working for a title or we're working for something, we've sat there, we've looked at that, we've dreamed of that. We thought, how can we get there? But then it's key that you kind of put that in the back of your mind and go, okay, who is it that I can help? Who can I think of that really needs what I have? I know a lot of girls right now that are just kind of lonely. Their kids are leaving the nest. A lot of my friends my age, their kids have gone to college and they're in this really weird spot. So I feel like I have a lot of hot leads right now because they need what I have. I have joy in my business. I'm making extra money. I have a purpose. I have things to do. So anyway, I'm getting really off track there. Am I talking too fast? Okay, good. All right. So do I need to tell you all that one more time? Book and hold 4 to 6 parties a month. Recruit 1 to 2 people a month. Teach them to do what you're doing. All right. So let me tell you that. Let me tell you this part. Oh, here you go. Okay. So remember, if you're nervous about talking about the opportunity, your focus is on the wrong person. And here's the way I think about it. So let's pretend right now that you all are in my den right now. We're all sitting in a circle and I just hop up and go, gosh, I'm so thirsty. I've got to get some water. Does anybody want anything? And I pick up my little candy dish that's got big pink gumballs. And I say, Danielle, you want any gum? And I'm popping one in my mouth because I love it. I'm just chewing that thing like a hussy. I'm going at it with my gum. And I say, Danielle, would you want some? And Danielle may be like, oh, I hate pink bubble gum. I hate it. Okay, Tracy, would you like some pink? You want some gum? You know, and it's like, yeah, that sounds good. Jessica just ate. She doesn't want any gum. Rebecca, she hates gum. Everybody is like, you know, we're passing the gum around and everybody has a different answer. And some people just go, never want gum. Maybe I'll try some gum. And there's probably a few of you, like if you were here, your mind wasn't on gum at all. You didn't come here to talk about gum or think about gum, but I'm going to hand you that gum ball in the little tray or my little bowl, and you're going to go, yeah, gum sounds good. Okay. Some of y'all may want to spit that gum out pretty fast because it's too sugary or you just don't like it. And me and Danielle and Jessica, we're just going to keep chewing that gum because we really like it. My feelings are not hurt when someone says no at all. Are they? Your feelings would not be hurt if you offered someone gum and they said no. Even if they like put their nose up and went, yuck, hate gum. I would never join 31. I can't stand direct sales. That would just roll right off. Okay. I might say in that instance, you know, I felt the same way. When I first became a consultant, I was like, ooh, direct sales. This isn't your mama's direct sales. And that would be all I would say. I wouldn't try to twist her arm or persuade her any more than that. What I would try to persuade her with is, do I look like somebody she would want to be around? Am I carrying bags she might want to have? Do I look like I'm having fun doing what I do? Do I look like a pretty happy person to be like a 31 consultant? Can she see when she logs on Facebook or Twitter? Dang, that girl's always having a good time with her 31 business. None of those things are fake. All of that's true. All that's very authentic. So instead of being scared or going, oh, I just don't know if I can offer, make that offer and go, you know what? People are going to say, or people are going to say yes. I'm going to let it roll right back, roll right off. So I want you to answer these 4 questions, and y'all may have already done this, because Danielle and I think have talked about this, but I love these 4 questions, and I actually have them written down where I look at them all the time, because this is typically, even though I have my cell phone, when I'm thinking 31, I'm in my office. I like to be in here because it just kind of puts me in that zone. Answer these 4 questions and write these 4 questions down, and then put them somewhere where you can be reminded of your answers. Number 1, do you believe in what you're doing? And number 2 would be, are you happier because of your involvement in 31? I love number 3 because my friend Mark Carr told me this one time years ago. I was really down in the dumps. And I was like, you know, Mark, I don't even know. Like, I'm so kind of lost right now. I don't even know what I feel about 31. And his answer was, I want you to go around your house right now. Just go around your house and just look at things, like tangible things that you have in your home because of 31. Just stuff. Does that make you happy? You know, he's like, does that make you happy that you have that? Did you pay very much for it? Did you get it free? Did you earn it? That was cool. It's like, that makes my life a little better every day. The baskets that we sold that have the little handle that has our last name engraved on it in the bathroom. You know, the hand towels that we used to sell that were monogrammed, that I have those in all the bathroom. I mean, all those kinds of just little tiny things that I know nobody else knows that comes to my house unless I tell them. Another consultant maybe might know what some of those things are. We had a big celebrate plate, some of those things. So number 3, have you benefited from your 31 business? A lot of you can think, I'm paying my water bill on time. I'm paying for childcare every month. I'm responsible for a car payment, or thank goodness I can go get a manicure and a pedicure. What are your favorite things that move your heart is what number 3 is about. How have you personally benefited? And then 4, do you know others who could also benefit from 31? So when you look at number 4, do you know others who could benefit from 31? That, I want you to just imagine and make a list. I call mine my chicken list. And I still have a chicken list. And I have people on my chicken list that I have not contacted, and someday I will, and I keep them there. But it's always good to just revise and start again. Write a chicken list. If you knew that you could feel just as pleasant before you ask them as you would after, who might you offer the opportunity to? Who is somebody that you think, gosh, she would just be so good at what I do, or she would be so fulfilled by doing this. It would make her feel so good to be on a team around other awesome women, like-minded women, who needs a little extra money and some flexibility, and write their names down and call that your chicken list. And get brave in the next, some of y'all may be really super brave, and you may ask them this week. Sometimes it may take up to 6 months. But I asked a lady, I don't know why on earth I was so intimidated by her. She was so awesome. And she did tell me no, but she really did help me break through. She was my first real scary chicken list person. And I was just asking her for a party. I wasn't even asking her to join. I just kept thinking she would be the ultimate hostess. I would love to be around her. And I asked her, and she was so flattered and so gave me a wonderful no. She was no. And she buys from me now. So I'm glad that I did that. And it wasn't creepy. It wasn't scary after I did it at all. And so she kind of helped me with my courage. But I've had some pretty ugly no's too, but it'll be all right. It's okay. All right, so we were talking about recruiting languages, right? And I want to talk to y'all just a little bit. Am I going like super long here? Okay. Different recruiting languages. Everyone doesn't join for the same reason. Everyone's not attracted to your words in the same way. Just like some of you tonight may be like, I'm still scared of that, or I don't know, or I need to hear a little more of that. Somebody may run with it. That's just what happens with a recruiting conversation. Somebody may be thinking, not now, maybe later. Some people may be thinking, absolutely not. And then other people are going, well, I'm ready. Let's go. So here are some examples of different things different ways you might hear this. So if someone were talking and they said, I want to build a team so that I'm surrounded by like-minded women. 31 is my mission field. I can proudly share my faith and have some fun with friends. If that's your gig and you're thinking that, tell it. There are people that will be attracted to that. But you also got to remember that there are people that will be attracted to something like this. So you want to sprinkle these kind of messages in. I love the products and I need more money. Building and leading a team excites me. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And that was me. I just wanted somebody to just make it real simple. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. And you can always, that doesn't mean that you have to do like exactly to the letter of the way, Tammy has her party or Danielle has her party. But it does mean there's a lot to learn there. If they're having success, look at it, really study it. Think about that. Here's another one. I'm in desperate need of more flexibility. And this was when I was talking about Hope earlier. She was actually able to quit her job because she needed more flexibility. She needed more hours at home. I'm willing to break through some of my mental barriers that keep me from recruiting because I need that flexibility so bad. There are people that are around you that are never going to tell you that they're having trouble at home, or that their husband's a jerk at home and won't let them spend any money, or that they just feel beaten down mentally. They're never going to say that. So make it easy for them to go, if I were to have a little conversation with her, I could confide in her. And you'll be able to go, you know what? This is not, we're not saving lives at 31. We're making women happy. We are making all kinds of women happy and helping them earn an income. All right, so I'll hurry. I know I'm talking too much. All right, 3 key areas that really make a difference in effective recruiting. And again, this is just really simple. Being in front of enough people. So that can be in front of them on a screen, behind a screen, in person, a combination of that. But that is the key to it all. Being in front of enough people, offering to enough people, having timely and effective follow-up. That's the answer to every single problem in all of our businesses. That's it. It's just that simple. The 3 key areas for really effective recruiting and having a strong business: being in front of enough people, offering to enough people, timely and effective follow-up. So I want you to just quickly, and this, don't beat yourself up. This isn't a beat yourself up exercise. This is just a where are you right now? So if you had to rate yourself on your recruiting right now on a scale of 1 to 10, write that in your notes. What would you rate yourself? And that can include, I'm confident, but I'm not in front of enough people. I have recruited, but I need to up my game a little bit. Or I never really have, but I'm willing to try. When I did this the first time, my number was a 3. And I think I'm like at 100. I think I finally passed the 100 mark, the 100 recruits mark. I think I've actually like had about 500 people sign up, but only about 100 and something have peaked. All right. Think about your parties and your selling and rate yourself 1 to 10. And this is, am I in front of enough people? Am I offering to enough people? And a lot of times the offering is the problem. We're just not offering to enough people to party. We're just not offering enough people. And that's a really simple thing to fix. It sounds like it's not easy, but it is simple. And how you fix it is, I got to know a little bit more about how that insider information can just roll right off my tongue. How easy is it for me to copy and paste how exciting our insider information is? And then I also do the last one, which is how confident are you in booking and rebooking? So parties and selling was the second, and then booking and rebooking. So you can decide, we can do a 30-day check-in, we can do a 60-day check-in, we can do a 90-day check-in. I always like to gauge things in 90-day increments because it takes a bit. You know, you can't just tomorrow snap your finger and go, hey, I'm going to just, I mean, you may be able to book a ton of parties tomorrow, but usually it's going to take you a little bit. It's like, what's my strategy? What am I doing? Don't spend too much time in the weeds. Keep it really simple. It doesn't have to be a perfect party. My parties for years were basically show and tell. Got me where I wanted to go, you know, and I sold a bunch of bags and made women happy. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Some people, their personalities are, they can remember all those great details and they love that. And they love studying those prints and they love doing that. Do that. If that's you and it makes you happy, do that. So next is setting a measurable date, anywhere 30, 60, 90 days. How are you going to know your numbers changing? What are you going to do to hold yourself accountable? Y'all can share these in the comments, or you can just tell me, tell Danielle, because I want you to rate yourself again at the 30-day mark, the 60-day mark, and the 90-day mark. I am a firm believer that you can promote to director in 90 days. Absolutely, you can. I've seen it a million times. Like, just, if you are determined, you've got to get really focused, laser focused, and all these things right here. I mean, think about all the information that we are given every day about 31, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. Take out the noise and go, what's my goal? Where am I trying to go? What am I trying to do? What are my next steps to get there? Being in front of enough people, offering to enough people, timely and effective follow-up. Any movement is success. So don't get freaked out if it's 60 days later and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't hit that goal, or I didn't. If you are moving that rating, if you're moving the needle, that is success. Movement is success. Okay, so let's see. Okay, just about done. So share, you can share in the comments or just tell me what key impact activity will make the biggest impact for you and where you want to go in the next 30 days. What's like one thing you want to go, you know what, I'm going to get to work on that. Am I putting you all on the spot? See, that's me. I got to get my ask on with the 4 questions. That's me. I have not been asking. I had a really good heart-to-heart talk with it was so weird. We are, she's in another lineage. She's one of my friends, one of my really good friends. She's a team member of one of my really good friends. And we, at any event, always meet up and go to Mass together. Like, we just quietly sneak out of where, and we'll go to Mass on Saturday or Sunday together. And so the other night I was telling her, I said, I've had a little confidence problem, like for the last, while. I took a little detour. I've had a confidence problem. And she wrote me these awesome things about what she had thought of me at different times. She's known me for like 10 years, wrote me these little things, and then gave me scripture with them. And I printed those off. I almost cry every time I think about it. But I thought, you know what's happened in the days since she said that? Danielle gives me great words all the time too. It's so funny how she says, I give great words. She's the great word giver. But it's like, you don't know, just because someone has been a consultant a long time, just because Danielle's been super successful, just because somebody's been super successful, we all still need that encouragement. We all still need that celebration. We also need, that is so important to just feed our little souls. And that's why another reason I'm so thankful for 31. All of the women in my family that I, looked up to, my grandmothers, my mom, they all died with, my mother-in-law all died within the same period of time. And it's so interesting how 31 came along right then. I mean, I remember I used to pray to be around women, put me around wise women. And I thought women meant old women. I was picturing like grandma in my mind. I was picturing like mother in my mind. I was like, Lord, just please put me around some wise women. And I'm in the middle of them all the time, like all the time. So, you just never know. You just never know. What's with your man, Holly? Okay. All right. That's all I have. I'm going to look for that little thing that Jennifer, because I laminated it. I laminated what she told me to do. She used to carry copies of the career path, which I think is very smart. So when she was meeting with somebody, we should do this. We could do this virtually. We could do this when we're talking to a new recruit or talking to somebody that's just started. She would make notes or have me make notes on the career path, because it was very motivating to see, this is what I have to do for this. To be a senior consultant, you got to do 1. Just double that. You're an elite. Just double that. You're a director. And it was like, okay. It was like having steps along the way. And it was just a piece of paper. So I think a lot of things that I've done in my business is make things much harder than it needs to be. And if I just go back to these, these activities, we're soaring. We're doing great. Do y'all have any questions? Need more confidence in what to say? I'm working on it. I tend to overthink it. Holly, you know exactly what to say, and you are so good at it. So you just pop it right out there, sister.
You're good at Holly.
It's confidence. I know it is, because I lack that sometimes. I will let mine ebb, and it's like, what am I thinking? Come on, I'm Holly Allridge here. I've been a consultant a long time. I know what I'm doing. Somebody would be I would love to have them on my team, and they'd be so lucky to have me as their sponsor. They would. That's not arrogant. Think about that. It's not arrogant to say that. Wouldn't you treat them so well?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And
okay,
Holly,
Danielle.
I'll echo exactly what Shelly has, because she's been sending me stuff and I've been helping her a little bit. And I think the thing that everyone needs to remember is that there's always a solution. Like everything they say, we are solution solvers. And that's where it's not pushy. That's where it's just like, if you just think of the solution and you compliment them somehow and you keep the conversations going and you do all of those positive things, it's not going to be pushy. Just like Shelly said, it's just the facts. It's literally just, here's food for thought. You just said you're too busy. How much time do you have? And this is one that I will tell you is a crazy one. Have you ever asked them when they say they don't have time, or they don't think they have time, or they talk about time? Have you ever asked them how much time they think they need? Has anybody ever done that?
No, but that's good.
It's insane. They think they need like 20 or 30 hours a week. And I'm always like, and they're like, well, I have like 10 or 15 hours. And I'm like, girl, you don't need 10 or 15 hours. People don't believe me when I'm like, I only work 20 to 30 hours a week still. Sometimes it's ebb and flow and it comes and goes, but I can honest to God tell you. So just keep those little things in mind. Think about, they are always thinking different than we are, and you have the solutions, Holly. I know you do. We all do. We all know. Everyone on this call, especially that I'm seeing right now, you've all done it, that you know what those solutions are. Now, when we get new girls, because I know some of you are going to be watching the recording, at the same time, that's what we're all here for too. Like how Holly just instantly was like, this girl just said this, and I voice recorded right back to her. Here's some ideas, right? Like, it's not hard either. We're all here to help. And, sometimes even I think people forget too, like, say that, because that just shows her the sisterhood. If you say, I don't know the answer to that question, let me go ask my director. Let me go ask my 31 sister and find out for you. Hello, you just showed her the sisterhood too, right? Like, you showed her you don't know everything, and you showed her we have a family here. We have this amazing sisterhood. Let me go find out, right? So just food for thought with all of that. And I'm back in Shelly. Holly, I know you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I love all what you all are saying. Send them out to everyone at every party, but I need to answer better. I think I'm pretty good at follow-up because I'm a paper girl. Is anybody a paper person? Okay. I'm like a binder.
All the binders,
I have binder. I'm like a binder girl. And let me tell you, I learned this at I took a little detour last year and worked at Jenny Craig for a little while. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, crazy town. But they were excellent at training. And some of the things that they did, I brought home with me in my head because I was like, oh my goodness. Every so a 4-hour shift, you had to have 4 consultations, 20 minutes apiece, and you had to make 50 phone calls. Didn't matter if they answered or not, but you were going to keep making like they had all this information in there and you just had to go down the list and you had to like give your spiel, give the spiel. Oh, when they first said that, I thought 50 phone calls. I haven't made 50 phone calls in a day. I've made 50 phone calls in 2 weeks. I mean, like I'm thinking, because I was always like throwing it back to my 31 business. And so about 4 months into that, I was like, this is crazy. I mean, if I'm working this hard for them, I'm going back home. I didn't give up my 31 business at all, but I thought if I'm going to go put all this energy into doing this, why am I not doing this for myself? So now, like connected contacts, I think those 15 are easy. They're different. The connected part, you probably have to make about 35. If I want to connect with 15, I'm going to make about 35. But Jenny Craig was very good, and this resonated with me because I'm old school. They wanted people to hear your voice. They were like, you can send out a lot of emails. Those don't count for your phone calls. You can send out texts. We want you to do that. Since you can't see them in person, we need them to hear your voice, because your voice gives that tone of, do they like the way you sound? Do you sound trustworthy? And then it was on a rotation. So when you told somebody you were going to call them back, you were calling them back. So that's how I keep up with, I've got a binder of everybody that's in my contacts in my back office. And my contacts in my back office, they're going to hear from me once a catalog season, unless I get some, just honestly, I don't do it like I should or could, but that made a big difference. That got me back on track pretty quick, and I don't feel so yicky I don't feel like I'm cold calling. It's just like, I'm calling because I'm their 31 person. Anybody have any more questions? I realize I really talked a long time.
Oh, it was good. I don't think you talked too much.
Okay. And now
thank you for sharing all this stuff. It's just gems. It's all gems.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I know one of the things that really stuck out to me is, because I know a lot of you have been working on your why I joined video and why I stayed video, because some of you are in the Drive to Director and we've been talking about that. And I know that Julie talks about, and Shelly definitely touched on this, and this was like a big aha for me. Julie talks a lot about when you're doing your why you stay, you're given all those reasons why she stays, right? So it's not just you, it's all of those things. And Shelly's things that really stuck out to me is how people won't tell you their problems. So you got to make sure that they hear those problems and why someone else stays. So like that really really resonated with me, that like, Jessica, I know like you're similar to me, like you needed to pay the mortgage just like Shelly did when we started, right? So you've got to have that story. If that's not your story, that's Jessica and I and Shelly's story, right? If that's not your story, you got to have that in there, and all those little stories you've got to have, because like you said, nobody's going to just be like, I just lost my job and my dog and my, right? I mean, we're not going to be a country song most of the time.
One of my dear friends that was an SED when I started said, I mean, when she told her why, I mean, the whole room was like, oh my gosh, She said that her why literally was like, she had been a stay-at-home mom. They had 3 kids, and her husband is like a, just really like money, numbers cruncher. He is an accountant. And she said, I just wanted to see how much money it would take for him not to nag me about going to get my hair done and getting it highlighted and getting my roots done and getting it cut and getting a manicure and a pedicure, because that's expensive, And she said, I thought, I'm going to make enough money that I don't have to hear that anymore. And that really moved her. Like, that was her driver. And it's so funny because you never think that could be somebody's driver. Neely Bassett, her big reason, she's an SED, maybe an NED now, SED. She was like so motivated to redo her kitchen. She was so sick of it. And it was like, have a baby, have another baby. Everything took precedence over redoing her kitchen. And she was like, I'm joining 31. And every penny that I make with this 31 business is going to go into my kitchen remodel. Because she wasn't spending. That's another thing too. I don't ever encourage people to spend money. It's like, earn it. When I started, I wanted a lot of 31 things, and I knew if I wanted it, I had to earn it. So mentioning those things, sometimes just bringing up, paying for a manicure and a pedicure, that can be a big thing.
Which is huge, because I bring them up, but I've never heard like that version. Like, look at how that has a whole nother twist. It's not just that she wants the mani and pedi, she actually needs husband to get off her back, and she wants those, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole other version. So when we think it sounds so simple that we're saying she wants a mani pedi, she wants to remodel something in her house, like you said, to her, it's got a deeper story than that. It's going to have something that means more. So those are great. That's exactly the aha for me, for sure. How did you guys do on your ratings? We'll end with that. Anybody want to share? Mine were low. And it's like Shelly talks about, right? Like, you just are all going to assume like, oh no, when she gets as specific as she was with each of those. I mean, some of you have heard my song and dance. I recruited like crazy this year, you guys, but I didn't ask. They just fell into my lap, and that's awesome. But I have to be honest with myself. I didn't do the work, and I could be doing so much better if I was actually.
You know what? You really were. You just don't think you were doing the work.
I know.
What you were doing was you had those 3 A's going strong. You were authentic, and you were attractive. What's the other A? I can't remember what it is. Authentic, attractive, and something else. It's like you were making it look like I'm joining.
Yes. But
approachable.
Intentional.
Is it approachable?
Approachable.
Yes, maybe. Yep. Yeah. But in every single area still, I mean, that goes back to what I just put in the comments too, right? Like, I'm not doing the 4 questions. I'm not doing my follow-up like I should be. So it's okay if it's lower. I love how Shelly's like, but in 30 days, the needle has to move. And you guys, this is another thing Julie pushes. That was another thing I wrote in my notes, is that one, I totally believe exactly what Shelly said. You can be a director in 90 days. Jessica, I can guarantee if you really looked at it, that's exactly what you did. You joined and were a director in 6 months. And I guarantee by month 2 or 3 is when you were like, I'm doing this. Tracy, even though you had joined a long time before, when you got down to it, it was like, I'm doing it. And it happened in 90 days. Shannon, you've done it 100,000 times. Poor Shannon over there has been promoted 5 times, and every single time she's turned it around and got it and had to rebuild and do it all again.
Oh, so, Shannon, I'm riding that career path up and down too. Don't worry.
Right?
This is I'm back to senior director right now, and this is like my 2nd month at senior director. And I was like, okay, this was the longest I was ever at senior director. So but you know what's funny is that has put fire under me, thinking this is the longest I was ever a senior director. I was an SED when there was no NED. And so it's like, I went down, and then I went back up for a little bit to SED, and then I went down again. Now I'm at SD, but I look, and that's, I basically took half a year off last year, and my attitude was in the gutter. I mean, it was just bad, so fixing your mindset, I'm like, oh, it's going to be back. It's going to be back soon too. I'm determined.
It will. It will.
I mean, we're going to ride that career path. Life is happening. It's okay. Any movement forward is good movement.
Mm-hmm. and it takes time at the same time. So as much as we're saying it's 90 days, Julie will push, you will see the fruits of what you're doing like 2 months later. So you can't quit within those 2 months because you're just like, oh, the needle isn't moving fast enough. It's not doing what I want to do either. And that's what too many people, sorry, I got bugs. Sorry.
You can't give yourself so much grace that you're just,
Yes.
grace yourself right
trying
out.
to get me. But yes, no. And I just think that if that was the number one thing I can say in my business that I do, and it's just consistency. I don't give up, even though I get 5 minutes. That's what Toby always tells me. A lot of you have heard me say that, right? When I'm pissed off, I get 5 minutes to be pissed off, he tells me. And then I go right back to it, even though it's not working. Like I'm in a valley right now. My mega parties, you guys, some of you that know me have been hearing me cry that they're down in the valley. But I get 5 minutes to cry about it. And then I got to get back to work and get my ask on and maybe pivot again because maybe things aren't exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. But it's consistency. I would not be where I am today, and Shelly wouldn't either, if at the end of the day, we don't get back to it and stay consistent.
Have you all heard that phrase? A lot of years ago, people in 31 constantly were saying bless and release. And that would just irritate the fire out of me because I was like, look, Jesus has the wheel and your foot stays on the gas.
Yes.
Yes. Come on. Be like, well, I just had to leave it all up to him. It's like, listen, it doesn't work that way. He's going to bless the fruit of your work, the fruit of your labor. You can't just sit there and go, okay, he's driving. It's like, put on the gas.
Yep. It's true. You get to be mad. And that's what I always say too. Like you have to acknowledge it. You get to be, and things aren't always going to be sunshine and flowers. I would love to say it's going to be, but if you stay consistent in the end, it will. You will get to look back and see that it did a lot of this, but at the end of the day, you still went here. So maybe it kind of does this, right? Like it's got that little up and down, but it's always moving you forward as long as you keep doing it. As soon as you quit doing it, no, you're not going to move forward. I mean, that you've answered yourself there. When you quit doing any of the things, you've written the book. You wrote the book moving forward, right? So thank you so much, Shelly. Does anybody have any other questions? No? Okay.
No, just thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
It was fun. Thanks. I love talking to y'all. Love seeing your faces, meeting you.
Oh yeah, let me get a picture. Gosh, I have literally got lightning bugs all over me.
Aw.
They keep landing on me. Okay, yeah. All right.
Good luck. Take it.
Smile, guys. Okay, got it. Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, everyone.
Tag me.
Yes, I will.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.